versus off market. Which strategy gets your sellers the best results? Hello, everybody. Roxanne Govari with Pemberley Realty here in San Diego, California, along with my partner, Santiago Guerin.
Hello, everyone. Another great topic to talk about today. I got some good
So,
questions here for Roxanne because, she's the expert, been in the business for quite some time. And this can help both. This is kind of goes towards agents, but it can also go towards, our sellers out there because
that's
you
true.
can also be in, I don't want my home being listed on the MLS if I'm thinking of selling, or, I want to sell it off market. I don't want to go through the whole hassle or. So there's a lot of questions there, and I can go both ways to the agents out there that are gonna have this conversation with their seller or the sellers themselves. So it's gonna be. I think this is a great topic to talk about. So
So, it's it's really, really interesting, actually, if you think about this. So the topic of clear cooperation versus not. Clear cooperation basically meaning that that if you have a property for sale, you put it out onto the multiple listing service. You expose it to as many people as possible so that you can sell it for as much money as possible.
yeah,
And then the question becomes, will you get more money, or will you get more money if you put the property on the market, or do you have an opportunity to get more money if you don't put the property on the market and you
yeah,
sell it off market? Now, this phenomenon of off market is a phenomenon that is coming in, and it's more of recent years that this has become a thing. Because let's go back 20, 25 years ago. Pretty much everything was off market. You would go into real estate office number one, they would have their own listing. You would go to real estate office number two, they would have their own listing. Believe it or not, that is still the case in most of the world. For example, I had clients that moved to France, and they were saying about how difficult it was to actually navigate through and find property, because there was no centralized system like our MLS, where you could go and see everything that there is for
yeah,
sale. They had to go to different offices and work with different realtors in order to find the inventory that they were looking for.
yeah,
Um, so that basically describes MLS versus a off market. And off market is there's nothing more than I get a listing, I'm going to hoard it, I'm not going to put it out on the MLS for everybody else to have access to sell it. The
and
other side of this, yeah,
mhm.
go ahead.
And kind of going into both of them, what would you consider to be some of the, because there's like benefits, and bad things that, each one could have for the off market side of things. How What are the downsides to that, or what could be some benefits out of off market,
Okay,
if you have
so
any?
let's talk about that. So if you're selling off market, there could be a reason why you don't want to go on the market. There could be you're somebody famous and you don't want the whole world to know that you're putting your house on the market. So that's one of the reasons that you would be selling off market.
That's good.
You have concerns about privacy, so you don't want to put your house on the market, because then your privacy is compromised. And or you your property is not showing well, you're embarrassed, so you don't want to you don't want to put, pictures out there. You don't want the whole world to be able to see how you live, to avoid embarrassment. So
Yeah.
that could be one of the reasons why you would want to sell off market. Um, those are some of the strong reasons. Another could be that you're thinking that if you sell it off market, you're able to get more money, but that's the part that it becomes sketchy to sell something off market, because if you are not exposing the property to as many buyers as you can out there, are you really getting the most amount of money for your property?
Yeah.
And that's where things get sketchy.
Yeah. It's more
The
like up
other
in the
part,
air. Yeah, it's more up in the air to like who does come and see it. Like, you know, you might not be unlocking that full potential of getting it out for everyone.
that off market selling off market, in my opinion, is dangerous is, um, because you are basically operating under the radar and you're operating in a shadow, then people feel that, okay, I can do things the way that I feel is right, and therefore I don't have to go with what's the norm. I don't have to go with what's sometimes even legal. I don't have to abide by all the rules because I'm selling it under the radar. And that by itself um, presents a danger to both sides,
Yeah.
because there are laws in place, there are rules in place, there are rules in place within our industry. There's laws in place to protect the buyers and sellers. And if you're selling off market, and you're not basically abiding by the norm, then are you also running the risk of either stepping on the other person's toes, or getting into legal trouble, or getting into ethical issues? All of those things are come into play when you are trying to sell off market. And not to say that you don't run those risks if you're in the open market, but the possibility of those happening when you're in the open market are much less.
Yeah. 100%. 100. And then now going to the on market, what would you consider to be some of the benefits of having, your property up in the market? And then what could be the negatives? I mean, they can I'm guessing they kind of go against each other. Like I would say, like on this one, the downside would be, your house, everyone knows that your house is being sold. You
Yeah.
know, your privacy might go away a little bit, but you know, your upsides, I would, I'm guessing it's you got everyone knowing, so your chances of getting the best and highest price is,
So
you
much
know,
higher.
much higher. Exactly. So,
Well,
any
for
other advantages or any other reasons why you would recommend to have it on the market over?
on the market,
Yeah.
well, for one, efficiency. And I'll give you an example. I had an inquiry the other day from one of my potential buyers, and they were saying, "What do you know about 123 Main Street?" And I said, "123 Main Street? I'm not sure if I do know. Let me take a look." So I look on the MLS. I'm looking on the MLS under actives. I'm looking under MLS under pendings. I'm looking under MLS under coming soons. I'm looking on the MLS under contingent. I'm even looking under MLS under sold, and I cannot see this property.
Yeah.
And then they tell me, oh, there is a sign on the property, and I saw it in the local newspaper advertised.
Huh.
And I said, oh, that's very interesting, because number one, the rules of the game right now, as they stand, they don't allow that. So the agent that was doing that is doing something that is not abiding by the rules. And if the if one person is able to see that and the other person is not able to see that, is that fair to the other person who's not able to see the property? And is it the most efficient when the professional is also not able to see the property because some advertising in the newspaper or some sign at the property that somebody can drive by and see, but it's not out there in the to the entirety of the world? Is that the most efficient way to actually get that property sold?
Yeah.
So
What is that law that that you were talking about right
clear
now? Like,
cooperation.
okay, so if you're selling off market, you can't be having any sort of advertisement, or what is it exactly with that law?
So right now, NAR, National Association of Realtors, rules are clear cooperation means that within 24 to 48 hours, you must have the property either on the MLS, either in the form of a coming soon or in a form of an active listing. An active listing means that you're able to actually put it out there and have buyers and buyers agents be able to access the property. Or if they're coming soon, then you have that property on the MLS. And if it's coming soon, you can say, well, it's not ready for showing. We're still working on it, we're still preparing it. But uh, so it's coming soon, but it's not ready to show. Once it's ready to show, then we're going to switch it off to active listing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're just putting it into a newspaper and installing a sign, that does not count as coming soon, even because you don't have it exposed to the entirety of the market. Now, another part that could be a huge problem with properties not going on the MLS is fair housing. Fair housing basically states that you've got laws to abide so that for example, you show the house and give the opportunity to purchase the house to group number one versus group number two. So if group number one is able to see the house, but group number two is not able to see the house, now you may have a claim from group number two that we're not able to see the house. And if they're any of the protected classes of people within group number two, now you have a problem with fair housing laws. And that is also a problem that not everybody wants to deal with. So
Yeah. Hmm.
again, putting the house on the MLS will avoid all of those situations.
Yeah.
Now, also let's explore the people that want to go off market because they want to avoid certain complications. So, for example, the privacy of a home. Privacy of a home, you can always put just one picture of the property, so that you're not exposing the entirety of how you are living and your lifestyle or condition of the house or any of that. That's not exposed. Now, in a case of like a high profile person or like a celebrity or a sports figure or somebody like that, you can always put the property onto a name of a trust or into a name of an LLC, some other vehicle where you are actually holding the property into that vehicle, and then that trust hides the identity of the true owner. We have that done all the time as well. So for net worth individuals or families or clientele, that is always an option, so that you can still expose the property to as many buyers as you can, but you're not revealing your identity.
Yeah. Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So I myself, I am a proponent of clear cooperation. I think clear cooperation provides exposure to the market, exposure to as many buyers as possible, and I think it's something that we should preserve. Let's take a look at commercial real estate versus residential. Residential real estate is very easy to, well, not very easy, but much easier to come up with opinion of value in a residential setting than it
Yeah.
is in a commercial setting.
Yeah.
Again, because there is no multiple listing service on the commercial side. Everything basically is a wild, wild west of whoever does whatever they want, and
Yeah.
very difficult to try to figure out pricing strategies on a commercial property as opposed to residential property.
100%.
So another good reason that, okay, in action, actually, we can see that on the commercial side of things where there's no organized multiple listing service that exists, how much more difficult it is to price property. Another thing that I know folks might care about is the cost. Um, and we're in 2025 and we're talking about just this point in time, but at this point in time, the average cost of an appraisal for a residential property is between $700 to $1,000. And sometimes if the house is easy to find comparables for, sometimes lenders actually waive appraisal and don't even order an appraisal, so
Yeah.
you don't even pay for one. Versus if you're talking about commercial, where we're saying everything is scattered and there's no central point of a data bank of information, an average appraisal on a commercial property is anywhere between $4,000 to $5,000.
Yeah.
That
Big
kind
difference.
of tells you how it is when you don't have centralized information that the professionals can refer to, and how that complicates everything.
Yeah. And then the MLS also gives you all this information on the home, like, the history, when it was built, J- just, a lot more in detail than what you can find when it's off market, that it's not there. So
Yeah.
it opens up that door for the buyers to be able to do their own kind of research
Hmm.
before they, look at the place or know what's going on. So then you're getting, true buyers that are actually looking and interested in your home when they're stopping by. They're not going to be surprised when it's off market and they see the place and it's not really what they were expecting.
Right.
So,
Now, another thing that I think is important to consider is the trend of investors buying property.
yeah,
And investors are amazing, and investors are a part of real estate world, and they are a necessity. Some of the homes that investors purchase, they would basically be turn into eyesores for the neighborhood. They would turn into places that attract unwanted activities, and and sometimes if an investor doesn't purchase a property, an actual owner-occupied buyer is not able to ever come in and revitalize the property. Investors are revitalizers of communities in general. Sometimes you get bad apples here and there, but in general, investors do provide a very valuable service.
yeah,
On the other hand, are uh, investors do like the notion of off-market property sales, because they say they make their money on the way in rather than on the way out.
yeah,
So they have an incentive to try to get the property off market, because if it goes on the market, they would have to pay a lot more for the property. But is that to the advantage of the investor, or is that to the advantage of the homeowner?
That's to the advantage of the investor. The investor
Exactly.
prefers that, so you kind of want to be in the market.
So I think we all need to consider that as agents, we are there to service our clients, and if that client is an actual seller, it's to the best advantage of the seller for that property to go on the market. And by the same token, for the seller, it's to the advantage of the seller to hire an agent and go on the market, let the agent handle the nuances, but at the same time, going with an investor is not the best course of action because their benefit lies in getting the best deal, which is always in conflict with what is best for the seller.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
All righty. Well, those are all the tips that I can think of. Any other thoughts that you have that you think we need to discuss with our audience?
I mean, I think we covered everything pretty well. I mean, I think our conclusion is going on the market and get you the best bang for your buck. You know, having it out there, just letting the market actually, you know, work. If you're not letting it be out there, you're kind of stopping yourself
There
from
is also one other point that I can think of, and I'm going to bring it up because
yeah,
I don't think other companies may necessarily bring this up, and that is the survival and the health of small businesses. Um, the usage of MLS also is contributes to the survival of small businesses, small boutique brokerages, because if you give the industry to the corporate brokerages, then you basically give a lot of power to the big guys. And in our industry, we have a lot of boutique brokers. We have a lot of mom and pop brokers, and the strength and the flavor to our country is the survival and thriving of small businesses. And if clear cooperation means that boutique brokerages can thrive in that environment and service their clients to the best of their abilities, then that is a win-win for everybody. And if clear cooperation goes away, in my opinion, that is to the detriment of boutique brokerages and small businesses. And again, we give more power to the corporations. It's the same as when we were in the restaurant business and the restaurant industry. You have a mom and pop restaurant and you have a chain of restaurants. Yeah, the chain of restaurants is good to have, but at the same time, you want to have that cultural flair, that difference of tastes, that you can go to a local restaurant around the corner and have that experience, which you may not get in a chain of restaurants. Same goes for our industry and our boutique brokers. And clear cooperation go hand in hand with the health and survival of our brokerages, of our boutique brokerages. And since we're a boutique brokerage, we might as well say that clear
yeah,
cooperation is good for everyone.
yeah, exactly, exactly. I agree, 100%.
All right, excellent. Well, then let's put it out there, Santi,
Yeah,
that if they want to get in touch with us, there's my phone number. And if they want to get in touch with you,
there's my number two.
there's your phone number. And if they want to get onto our website, there's our website. And if they are watching this on Instagram, give us a follow. We appreciate that. If you are watching this on Facebook, give us a follow there. We appreciate that. And if you are watching us on YouTube, what do they have to do?
Subscribe, thumbs up, and reach out to us. There's plenty of
Absolutely.
options.
And remember, if you are subscribing to our channel today, you will be notified next time that we are running these discussions. And we really appreciate that you're amongst us. And if you are an agent in San Diego and you're looking for an amazing team to be a part of, give us a go. And you can also reach us and find out more about our team at joinpemberley.com. And
Yep.
thank you very much.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.